Thank you. Good morning. Have a seat. 2.5 years from now, when we celebrate the reopening of this airport, it'll herald in a new era, an era based on the confidence of a region that matters. It'll herald in an era where visitors and our residents alike will have that sense that they matter and that this region will really know it's taking off. I am so excited today to announce that we'll be doing the groundbreaking on a $60 million investment in this Capital Region airport that is going to be so magnificent, so welcoming, so beautiful. And as a new grandmother, I'm so excited there's a play area when my grandbaby comes to visit. So there's a lot of great things happening today. This is the largest state grant this airport has ever received from us. And I'm really proud of what this is going to signal about this region, especially as we spend enormous amounts of time recruiting new businesses to this area. And when they come and they see what we're going to do with the facade and all the amenities, they'll see this region really punches above its weight. And that's the message we want to get out there. And I want to thank everyone who's part of this today, our partners in this, our County Executive, Dan McCoy, who you'll be hearing from shortly. Thank you, County Executive. Phil Calderon, we've been to many ribbons cuttings, groundbreakings events here and welcoming new airlines and services. And I want to thank you for being the Chief Executive Officer over this extraordinary venue, the Albany International Airport. Let's give a round of applause to Phil. Our amazing DOT Commissioner, Marie-Therese Dominguez, I want to thank her. It's so nice to see you not in a snowstorm, not in a flood event. It's something we're actually dry and can wear normal clothes and not our normal storm gear. So she does an extraordinary job. Thank you, Commissioner. Thank you. Senator Jake Ashby has joined us as well. Senator, thank you for being here. Assembly members Pat Fahey and John McDonald, why don't you all stand up and take a round of applause here for all of you. Senator. Great partners in our state capitol. I hope you're enjoying the little, it's not really a break because I know you're just working harder than ever, so I know you're shaking your heads. But thank you for all you do. And you really are strong voices for this community, which is really important. And also our federal partners, Senator Gillibrand, Senator Schumer, and Congressman Tonko, who are a really important part of this. And also I have a certain affection for mayors. I come out of local government, 14 years as local government official. And I know the challenges they face and how hard they fight for their communities, especially the charming communities we have right here. So Patrick Madden, Ron Keeler, Ron Kim, and Bill Collins, please raise your hands and take a round of applause here. Mike Lyons here. We build with labor. We now have a project labor agreement in place. I want to thank Mike Lyons for his work as the president of the Capital Region Buildings and Trades Council. Mike, thank you. And that means, thank you. That means that we'll be having good-paying union jobs right here where people can live the American dream. This is the first of 9 state-funded projects that I announced last September 14th, a $230 million investment in communities that often feel overlooked. A lot of attention goes to certain parts of our state, a lot of energy around that's important, a lot of work being done at JFK and LaGuardia, transforming those into beautiful, beautiful, welcoming places. But we cannot overlook our upstate communities. We can never forget that these are communities that have been through tough times. They have struggled. They have seen more people leave in the past than arrive. And we're going to change that. And that's why I'm so excited, because we're going to be able to connect people to everything that upstate Albany has to offer, upstate Capital Region has to offer. You know, you think about, as I mentioned, some of the communities, the downtown scenes, and I visit them often in Albany and Schenectady and Troy and Cohoes and Glens Falls. I mean, these are really vibrant communities. And a lot of people did have a chance to discover this area during the pandemic, people that were trying to escape the oppressive environment in New York City, which was the epicenter, the global epicenter of the pandemic. They did find their way up to our charming communities, and we want to make sure they stay. So this is all part of the attraction, having an airport that just signals that we support great infrastructure, services, but at the end of the day, we can also make them be beautiful. And that's what's important to me. And we talk about where he'll be going. He'll be going up to the racetrack. I know there's many people who fly into Albany heading up to Saratoga Springs and also the track up there. All the great amenities. I'm not going to go through everything because I've been to every community. I can tell you all my favorite stores, my favorite restaurants, but you know what I'm talking about. And I want to make sure it's more than the people in this room who know what I'm talking about. I want to make sure the rest of the world knows how incredible this area is. And actually, when you think about this airport, this is the oldest municipal airport in the United States, built in 1928. There was a mayor at the time, Mayor John Boyd Thatcher, who was ahead of his time. He said, any city that does not accommodate this new air traffic would eventually be left behind. He was right about that. He had a vision that we're still building upon today. And transportation is really tied to the success of a region. You know, we continue to work on our roads and our infrastructure projects, our bridges, amenities, but airport is infrastructure as well. And it does take investments, or for an airport this old, it starts to decline. So we're always going to be giving it a facelift, and that's what this project is about. We're seeing a transformation here, and I'm excited about the energy that we're boasting in this area. And I want to make sure, as I was growing up in Buffalo, when our children were our greatest export, a lot of young people got on buses, drove cars, and got on airplanes and went elsewhere for their future. And today we're going to see a reverse migration, people coming here because the jobs are here, the quality of life is second to none. So I'm excited about this, and I'm going to talk about some of the specifics here in a second. I think that having, again, not the most important thing to everybody, but a play area. I just said goodbye to the baby on Sunday. Having a play area for stressed out parents is important. New baggage areas. Just the visual, we'll give you some of the renderings in a couple minutes. It's going to be so beautiful with the glass you see when you come up. When you see that sense of a vision, of seeing a glass facade that says, we're into the future. It signals a modern era that is now embracing this region. So there's a lot of great images that are going to be created by what we're doing here today. And I want to also talk about just some of the basic things, the seating areas, the concession areas. It's going to be easier to check in, easier to get your bags, easier to get something to eat. It's all about the ease for the customer so they want to come back again. And that's what I'm so excited about. I also want to make sure these upgrades are good for our airline workers and our airport workers. They deserve a great environment. They deserve to have the amenities, and they have worked so hard. They worked through a pandemic. Our airport workers are extraordinary. And without them, this area grinds to a halt, and I want to make sure we recognize them as well. We're also, as I mentioned a little over a year ago, investing in other airports: Saratoga, Saranac Lake, Sullivan County, Syracuse, Binghamton, Rochester, Ogdensburg, and Watertown. We're not leaving anybody out. I'm not allowed to play favorites as governor, and I'm not going to. We're going to make sure we have the resources to support all these projects. So let's get started. Let's make sure that people understand that when you do a project like this, when you invest $60 million, the largest investment of this $230 million into one place, it will be transformational. And that's what I look forward to cutting the ribbon on in just about 2.5 years. Phil?
February 2025.
Okay, hold you to that. 2.5 years. I'll be there. We'll be right here with in the wintertime. Hopefully a little break in the weather for the commissioner to be able to be with us. But it's going to be a great day. And that is not a long time. That is not saying, oh, someday in the future we'll do this. The future has arrived. And I'm real excited about unveiling the plans with the support of everyone in this room. But let me first bring up our great county executive who's been working in partnership with us to protect this airport, enhance it, and make it better than ever before. Ladies and gentlemen, our county executive, Dan McCoy.
How do you follow that? But I do want to say, you know, Governor, for your leadership, for your passion, not just for Albany County, but for all the other 161 counties. I wish you would favor us more, though. No offense to the mayors. But I admire you, what you've been doing since you've been governor, hitting the ground running, and caring about the whole state of New York, from Clinton County to Brooklyn to Queens, and being all over and making sure every detail is followed, every T's crossed, every I's dotted. It's not an easy task. And when she was lieutenant governor, heading up economic development throughout the whole state of New York, it has continued on. And this investment that she announced last year of $60 million is another thing that's going to be a huge shot in the economy. It's not just, it's about, I'll say this, Mike, and the unions, it's about the construction jobs and the labor jobs, and thank you for what you do because you are the backbone of our community. But it's really about the passengers that come through this airport. that are going to be more convenient and see a beautiful terminal and easy access. Because sometimes it's not about the flowers or it's not about anything else. They want the convenience, right? They don't want to wait in the long lines at TSA. They don't want the inconvenience. They just want to get through, get to their gate, have a good experience waiting for their plane to take off. And Governor, you and your team have made that happen. And the extraordinary things you continue to do and will continue to do as governor, it's great to be on this ride with you, so thank you. But I do want to say this is a huge day here. And, you know, this airport started in 1928. And to just go through a little history, it was co-owned by the county and the city of Albany. And we went through a lot of transition over the years. But the first name was named after Roosevelt's son, Quentin. He was a World War I pilot. And then, you know, they finally woke up and said, well, we can't have our airport Quentin. So they went to Albany, then Albany International. And it went through a lot of changes. In 1960, Mayor Corning decided to turn the airport over to the county. We paid him $4.4 million in 1960, which was probably a lot of money. But it's kind of neat, and like the governor pointed out, the history, it's nice. So I had a picture of the signing ceremony of the mayor at the time signing the airport over to the county of Albany. And, you know, the first expansion in 1962 was the first terminal. Then we had 1968, then 1979, and then the great project in 1996. But I do say to everyone here, I think the best day here was January 26, 1992. Does anyone know what that means? Not the people who are here. I came out of the military, and I started working here with Lockheed, and then it turned into Lockheed Martin, and I spent 11 years here. And I have to tell you, it's unique working here at this airport. You know, it's just the people traveling in and out, coming through, you know, some are happy, some aren't happy, but I learned a lot in them 11 years working here. But my love of watching the first terminal expansion when they knocked down the old terminal from 1960 and 70s, and the only existing one's in 1979, the old USA terminal that's still here. But to sit here for the 2 years and watch the transformational project. And it made me think about today and what the governor investment meant. Not just to the airport, not just to Phil Calderon and the board, and Sam Frisina and Kevin Hicks and Steve Hyder and Tom Nardacci and Sari and JR and I don't know, oh, you're Janet's here. Thank you for your leadership on the board. And I have the privilege of appointing 3 members, and Dennis Feeney, the majority leader here from the Ledge, appointing 4, and really working with the legislature. And Dennis, for your leadership, and Andrew Joyce and the legislators that are here, Paul and everyone else, thank you. But it takes a team to make things happen, and there's a lot of moving mechanisms, and there's a lot of love and passion that go into this airport and what has happened over the years. And to sit here and almost 30 years later to see what you're doing in this transformational project. And Phil Calderon, who was my deputy county executive for 6 years, and I said, Phil, this is a great opportunity to be CEO of the airport. Come on out here. And I didn't know he was going to stay out Chris Quinn at the time, but to have 2 extraordinary people leave my office and come out here. But then I was fortunate to get my new deputy county executive, Dan Lynch, who's been extraordinary to work with these last 3 years. And sorry to say, I'm going to lose him probably to the Supreme Court in January. So if anyone's looking for a job, give me a call. Not you, Mayor Jennings. You're retired. But to see what this impact is going to mean, not just to the labor community, to the business community, to everything going on across where we have this used to be the Shaker site. We had the Shaker site next door where the Yankees used to play. And the interest we got from this governor, and I don't know if I shared this with you and your team, the interest from business owners that want our property next door. It forced us to do an RFP to look at how we're going to redevelop it into the future. And the companies that were just knocking on our door saying, hey, we want to build here. And we're like, wait a minute, let's put an RFP out, let's look at it and look how we can expand this property, just because of the excitement of one project. So this one project, this one investment, which is a huge investment of $60 million, so thank you, is probably going to translate into hundreds of millions of dollars in economic development here in Colony. So thank you again for your leadership and everything else. And I could go on because I know too much history about the airport, and I don't want to be like Assemblywoman Fahey. I just want to end it so I'm invited back again. But I do want to say to you, to your team, you don't surprise me, all the extraordinary things you can continue to do throughout the state. It's great to be with you and your team, and I look forward to more exciting projects like this going on at the airport and working with everyone. So thank you, Governor, again for your leadership, to the board's leadership. thank you so much. It's not possible in the legislature, but it's not possible, too, without Phil Calderon and his team. Phil, you know, it was extraordinary getting to know you for 6 years and then having you come out here. So I do want to say this partnership of having you come out here was good. We need to continue that to be strong for the future, because it's about getting things done. Not about the egos in the room, I always say that. So the egos got to be left at the door so we can do extraordinary stuff. But it's my privilege and pleasure to bring up Phil Calderon, the CEO of the Airport Authority.
Thank you, everyone. It's a pleasure and an honor to welcome Governor Hochul again to our airport. True story, my very first day here on the job, we were in the midst of the heaviest snowstorm of the season. It was snowing at one point, or 2 inches an hour. My phone was blowing up with notices of cancellations and delays and diversions. I had 2 planes coming in emergency landings, one that had an engine out and another that had trouble with its landing gear. And then we got notice that that plane that had trouble with the landing gear had a woman who had gone into labor. I found out that day that I have the most incredible ops department, the most incredible airport fire and rescue team, and the most incredible ground crew in the business. Thank you, guys. But by the end of the day, I was wiped out. And I walked across the terminal to grab a cup of coffee at Starbucks, and I ran right into Governor Hochul. She gave me the biggest hug and congratulated me on my new position and said, "Phil, let me know if I can help." And here we are. Thank you, Governor. Your commitment to our airport through this incredible grant is recognition that we have a generational opportunity to modernize our infrastructure and to take this airport to the next level. It's also a recognition of the critical role that airports serve as both nucleus and catalyst for economic growth and development. In fact, a seminal study by the U.S. Department of Commerce on causal factors for regional vitality listed a vibrant airport as the major factor. The aviation pioneer Billy Mitchell was fond of saying, if you want to measure the heartbeat of a community, take the pulse of her airport. I want to take the pulse of our airport for a second. 2 bond rating increases within the past 10 months. Last month being accredited by ACA as the first airport in the United States and the 4th in the world to meet UN standards for building accessibility for the disabled. And this project is going to make us even more friendly towards accessibility for the disabled and the handicapped. Being the first airport in the U.S. to be accredited by ACI and GBAC during the height of the pandemic for our health and safety wellness standards. And last year, being one of the first airports in the world to be accredited for our carbon reduction efforts. Albany International and our incredible team strives every day for excellence and to showcase our region through that prism. And now travelers and visitors will be able to enter our airport through a fabulous new gateway that will reflect these accomplishments and that will showcase our region's leadership in technology, education, and commerce. Governor, the pulse of our airport is strong, and this historic investment by you and your administration and Commissioner Dominguez will make certain that our region and our airport are even stronger. Our motto at Albany International is, we're going places, and there are many folks to thank for that. In addition, Governor, to you and your leadership and my dear friend, Commissioner Dominguez, and all the support that she has provided me, I want to thank Senator Schumer and Senator Gillibrand and Congressman Tonko for their support for this project. This is a $60 million state investment in a $100 million project. $40 million of it is coming from federal sources, and Congressman Tonko, Senators Schumer and Gillibrand have been extraordinary leaders in their support of this project, as have our federal partners at the FAA, Director Evelyn Martinez, who could not be here, but is represented today by Rob Costa and Ralph Ghetto from the New York City office. And if they would just put up their hands, and I'd just like to give them a round of applause. they've been my Sherpas through the FAA process. I also want to thank Federal Security Director Bart Johnson. Bart couldn't be here because of a friend's funeral, but Bart and his team at TSA are extraordinary partners, and a major component of this project will be a redesign of the TSA checkpoint area to make sure that we have a smoother and, as the governor indicated, much easier way for passengers, not as stressful as it is at some times during pinch point days when we have really busy travel periods. So this redesign will not only give us, as the governor indicated, a lot of additional amenities like children's play area, a neurosensory room for folks who have sensory challenges. It'll create more concession opportunities, but it's going to give us a modern airport with modern technologies and modern facilities. For example, the heating and air conditioning systems in this building, which Dan referred to as, a very old structure going back to the '79 building. As the county executive noted, the heating and cooling facilities here go back to that '79 building. So there are a lot of upgrades that are going to take place as a result of this historic investment. And I want to thank the TSA folks who have been working with us on this redesign. You've been great. I also want to thank all the state, county, and local leaders, many of you who are here today, who have been supportive of this project, who wrote letters of support, both to get us the state grant money and to support us in our federal efforts. County Executive McCoy has been probably one of our biggest champions. I had, as he noted, the privilege and honor of working with him for 6 years as his deputy. He is the one who encouraged me to come out here and take this position. At the time, I was doubtful about what I could do. My background is as an attorney. It's in municipal finance, and had a long career in municipal government. But I came out here and I saw an opportunity to use this airport as a transformational project to help spur and promote economic development and growth in the region. And that's what this grant is helping us to accomplish. And Dan is the one who pointed me in that direction. I couldn't be more grateful. Thank you, County Executive. I also want to thank the members of the legislature who are here, particularly Majority Leader Feeney and Chairman Andrew Joyce. Thank you for your continued support. I want to thank Sheriff Apple and his team who provide security every day, 24/7 at this airport. I have to thank, as Dan noted, a remarkable board of directors, so committed with their time. They spend literally every month hours working with me and my team on guiding us and providing extraordinary advice and leadership. Chairman Sam Frasina, Sam, thank you so much for your leadership as board chair. Vice Chairman Kevin Hicks, Chief Steve Hyder, Sari O'Connor, Tom Nardacci, J.R. Pichardo, Janet Thayer. They're not only board members, they become family to me and friends, and I want to give them all a round of applause. You know, this airport, when I arrived here, hadn't had a master plan in 30 years. There are many people here today who are part of our regional and technical advisory group. I mentioned the master plan because it was out of that master plan that was developed during the pandemic that this project evolved from. So I want to thank the members of our technical and regional advisory group for your guidance and for your continuing work on that master plan. I also want to note that, as been mentioned, this is going to be, as the governor noted, a union job. We have a project labor agreement in place. I want to thank Mike Lyons and all the members of the trades who are here. I saw Anthony Frasina who's here. Thank you, guys. We're going to make you proud. You make us proud every day. And I think it was so important for the governor to mention the employees who work here and to make sure that we have accommodations to make sure that this is a great work environment for them. They kept this airport going 24/7 when most of the world was shut down. They are extraordinary. And I'm proud that with the support of our board, we never laid off anyone during that process. They are phenomenal individuals, and they have become my family as well. I want to thank them all for ensuring that the saying that we're going places is more than just a motto. It's a commitment, and it's an action plan for continued success. Commissioner, Governor, thank you very much for being here. Thank you all.
This concludes today's speaking program. Thank you all for attending. Please remain in your seats for the reveal of our renderings.
All right. All right, on the count of three. 1, 2, 3. Governor, we'll have you come to the other side for the second reveal. Yep. Tim, you're going to be the lucky contestant. Okay. On the count of 3. 1, 2, 3.
Thank you. That concludes today's